So things start to take a really dramatic turn when Shmuel's father disappears. Bruno, being the loyal friend he is, decides to help find him.
How?
Bruno comes up with this crazy plan.
I bet it is.
He puts on a set of striped pajamas that Shmuel sneaks under the fence.
What?
He thinks it'll be easy to find Shmuel's dad and pop back home in time for dinner.
Oh, Bruno.
What happens when he gets to the other side? Hey, ShakesPod listeners. Ready for a deep dive?
Always.
Awesome. Today we're tackling The Boy in the Striped Pajamas.
Oh, interesting choice.
It is. It takes us back to World War II.
A heavy time in history, for sure.
Here's the thing. It's told through the eyes of Bruno.
A young boy who doesn't quite grasp everything happening around him.
Exactly. So he doesn't really understand how awful things are.
An interesting perspective, for sure.
Right. We're going to break down the main plot points,
Sounds good.
dig into those thought-provoking themes,
Always a good idea.
and explore why this book still resonates with readers today.
Can't wait.
Okay. So the story starts with Bruno's world getting totally flipped upside down.
Oh.
He has to leave his comfy home in Berlin
Oh, no. Why?
because his dad, a high-ranking official, gets a new job.
Okay, I see.
But there's more to it than meets the eye.
I bet there is.
Bruno's father is actually working for Adolf Hitler.
Wow. Okay.
Bruno calls him the Fury.
Of course he doesn't realize.
Nope, not a clue. And their family is moving to Outwith.
Out with.
Yeah, Bruno doesn't realize it's a concentration camp.
Oh, wow. So he's going to a concentration camp.
Yeah, these camps were built by the Nazis to imprison and persecute Jewish people.
And other groups they didn't like.
Right. Bruno is totally oblivious.
Oh, like that.
He just complains about missing his friends
Oh.
and that awesome banister he used to slide down.
Sounds fun.
He keeps saying things like, "This was a bad idea."
He has no idea.
And it's not as nice as Berlin.
Ironic, right?
Yeah, considering he has absolutely no clue what's really going on.
It's almost like reading a different story entirely.
I know. That contrast between Bruno's innocent perspective and the reality of Outwith,
That's what makes the book so powerful.
it forces us to confront the brutality of the Holocaust.
From a completely different angle.
Right, you see it through Bruno's eyes.
Makes you think.
It does. Makes you think about how easily we can be blind to things.
Especially if we're not directly exposed to them.
Totally. Okay, so then comes a moment that totally changes everything.
Oh. What's that?
Bruno is exploring near this massive fence,
Okay.
and he meets Shmuel.
Now that fence is more than just a physical barrier, right?
It is. It symbolizes the deep divide between Bruno and Shmuel.
I see.
Shmuel is on the other side of the fence, and he looks small and skinny,
Ah.
and he's wearing what Bruno thinks are striped pajamas.
But they're actually the prison uniforms.
Right, the uniforms given to Jewish people in the camp.
But they become friends.
I know, right? Even though they come from these completely different worlds.
And they're separated by this massive fence.
They form this unbelievable friendship.
It's amazing how people can connect like that.
It is. It makes you think about how we all have that desire for connection.
Even in the darkest of times.
No matter the barriers, something in us strives for understanding and companionship.
That's beautifully said.
Thanks. I love how they just sit and talk for hours by the fence.
I can picture it.
Bruno, being so innocent, asks all these naive questions.
And Shmuel.
He gives these subtle hints about the horrors he's facing.
He can't be too direct, I guess.
Right. There's this one conversation that always gets me.
Which one?
Bruno tells Shmuel he's been exploring. Shmuel just responds, "Have you?"
Whoa.
It gives me chills every time. What do you make of that?
So much is said in just those two words.
I know, right? It's like there's this whole world of meaning hidden beneath the surface.
It's up to us, the readers, to dive deeper.
You got it. Now, the book also does a great job of portraying life at Outwith.
Okay, how so?
But again, it's mainly through Bruno's limited understanding.
Right, he's still a kid.
We get glimpses of the soldiers, the strict rules, and this constant feeling of fear and uncertainty.
It must be scary.
Oh, it is. And we're also introduced to some key characters.
Like who?
Lietanant Kotler, who embodies the cruelty and indifference of the Nazi regime.
Oh, right, I remember him.
And Pavel, a Jewish prisoner forced to work as a servant in Bruno's house.
Two very different characters.
Literally. That scene where Pavel cleans Bruno's scraped knee is absolutely heartbreaking.
Oh, yeah, what happens?
We learn that Pavel is actually a doctor, but is forced to hide his true profession.
Wow, that's awful.
It highlights the dehumanizing way the prisoners were treated.
It's hard to wrap your head around how something like that could even happen.
I know. Now, back to Bruno and Shmuel. Their friendship really becomes the heart of the story.
Yeah, it's a bright spot in all that darkness.
They meet every day at the fence. Bruno sharing his snacks and stories.
Unaware of the danger.
Totally. It's almost like their friendship gives them a little escape from everything.
It makes you wonder, though, if that kind of innocence can truly exist in a place like that.
That is a good question. Maybe it's a way to survive.
Maybe.
This book raises so many questions.
About ourselves, about society, about the choices we make.
Exactly. It reminds us that history isn't just something we read about in textbooks.
It shapes who we are.
So things start to take a really dramatic turn when Shmuel's father disappears. Bruno, being the loyal friend he is, decides to help find him.
How?
Bruno comes up with this crazy plan.
I bet it is.
He puts on a set of striped pajamas that Shmuel sneaks under the fence.
What?
He thinks it'll be easy to find Shmuel's dad and pop back home in time for dinner.
Oh, Bruno.
He's so naive. He doesn't even consider the danger.
But of course, he has absolutely no idea what he's walking into.
What happens when he gets to the other side?
Well, the reality of the camp is a far cry from Bruno's expectations. Instead of happy families and games, he finds fear, suffering, and a complete lack of freedom.
It's like stepping into a nightmare.
And Bruno is so innocent, he doesn't grasp the danger.
That makes it even more tragic, doesn't it?
It does. Bruno and Shmuel get caught up in a march.
Oh, no.
They're herded along with a group of prisoners.
Where are they going?
They're crammed into a small, airtight room.
Oh, man. That room.
It's chilling, isn't it?
When I first read that part, my stomach just dropped.
You just know what's coming.
Bruno is still clueless, though.
This is where John Boyne, the author, handles a very sensitive historical event with incredible care.
Yeah, he doesn't explicitly describe the horrors of the gas chamber.
But he conveys the devastating reality of the Holocaust.
It's the silence, the sudden shift in tone that makes it so powerful.
Bruno thinks they're just waiting for the rain to stop.
But we, the readers, understand the truth.
It's a masterclass in storytelling.
It definitely stays with you long after you finish the book.
It makes you think about the power of perspective, right?
Definitely. And how our understanding of the world shapes our experiences.
It makes you realize how crucial it is to be informed.
And to question what we see and hear.
Especially when it comes to historical events.
So why does this story still matter today? Why should the ShakesPod listeners care?
It forces us to confront uncomfortable truths about humanity.
Like what?
Like how easily prejudice and hatred can take root.
And how quickly people can become dehumanized.
And it shows us how crucial it is to fight against injustice.
No matter how small our actions may seem.
Exactly. We can't just stand by and watch while others suffer.
It also makes you appreciate the power of friendship.
Bruno and Shmuel's bond was so strong.
Even though their time together was short.
It transcended the barriers that divided them.
A sliver of hope in the midst of darkness.
Absolutely. We need that message in today's world.
We've covered a lot of ground today.
We have. Bruno's innocence, the Holocaust, the powerful symbolism.
And those thought-provoking themes.
The story is undeniably tragic.
But it leaves us with a glimmer of hope.
Such a powerful story.
It really is. It shines a light on a dark chapter in history.
Through the innocent eyes of Bruno.
Okay, let's shift gears a bit and explore some of the most powerful quotes.
Those lines that really capture the essence of the story.
Okay, here's one that always hits me right in the feels. Bruno says, "I've been exploring."
And Shmuel responds, "Have you?"
Simple exchange.
But so much meaning.
It speaks volumes about the vast difference in their experiences.
Bruno has no idea.
Right, he's eager to share his adventures, but he's totally unaware of Shmuel's confinement.
A perfect example of how Boyne uses simple dialogue to convey profound meaning.
It highlights the tragedy the innocents lost.
And the weight of untold suffering.
Okay, here's another one. Nothing is the same here.
That was Pavel, right?
Yep, it perfectly captures that sense of displacement.
That feeling that everything familiar has been changed.
And it's not just Bruno.
Everyone affected by the horrors of war and persecution feels that way.
It's like the world has shifted, and nothing will ever be the same.
Makes you think about how precious our sense of normalcy is.
This next quote is from Bruno's mother. She says, "If some people could only see the effect this place is having on us all."
What do you think she's trying to say?
I think it reveals the toll that Bruno's father's work is taking on their family.
His mother is being crushed by the weight of moral compromises.
She's witnessing the darkness firsthand.
He's tearing her apart.
It's like she's trapped.
Yeah.
Outwardly, they have everything: status, wealth, power.
but inwardly they're falling apart.
This quote reminds us that even those who seem to benefit from a system built on injustice,
They often pay a heavy price,
there's always a moral reckoning.
a shadow that lingers.
Our choices have consequences, not just for ourselves, but for those around us.
Speaking of choices, let's not forget Bruno's grandmother.
Oh, right. She fiercely opposes her son's role in the Nazi regime.
She's the voice of reason.
She even says to her son, "The people you have to dinner in this house, why, it makes me sick. And to see you in that uniform makes me want to tear the eyes from my head."
Wow, strong words.
She represents the voice of dissent.
The moral conscience that refuses to be silenced,
She's like a beacon of light.
showing that even in the most challenging times, there are those who stand up for what's right.
Inspiring. All right, and here's our final quote for today. It's from Bruno, and it reflects his growing awareness of the differences between himself and Shmuel.
Okay, let's hear it.
He says, "You wear the right outfit, and you feel like the person you're pretending to be." She always told me. I suppose that's what I'm doing, isn't it? Pretending to be a person from the other side of the fence. Gives me chills every time.
It's such a pivotal moment.
I know Bruno is grappling with the concept of identity and empathy.
He's trying to understand Shmuel's world.
Even if it's just through a change of clothes.
True understanding goes beyond superficial appearances.
This highlights the idea that empathy requires more than just gestures.
It demands a willingness to step into someone else's shoes
To see the world through their eyes.
and to feel their pain as our own.
It's about connecting with our shared humanity, regardless of our differences. So as we wrap up our deep dive into The Boy in the Striped Pajamas, what final thoughts do you have for our listeners?
This book is a powerful reminder. The importance of questioning what we're told, challenging the status quo, and standing up for what we believe in.
We can't just be passive.
Right. It's a call to action.
Urging us to be more aware of the world around us, to recognize the worth of every human being, and to never forget the lessons of history.
Powerful stuff.
It's a story that stays with you. It prompts us to reflect on our own choices, our own prejudices, and our own responsibility to make the world a better place.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
That's a wrap on our ShakesPod deep dive into The Boy in the Striped Pajamas. Thanks for joining us,
We hope you enjoyed it.
and that you'll carry the lessons of Bruno and Shmuel's story with you.
As you strive to make the world a more just and compassionate place.
Until next time, ShakesPod listeners, keep reading, keep thinking, and keep asking questions.